Lisa Akbari. Hello and welcome. I'm Lisa Akbari, your ear doctor, and you know what time it is. It's time for Ask the Hair Doctor. As you can see, Ask the Hair Doctor. And what I'm so excited about is week 3 of our cyber reading. So we're still on the book, Black Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair. And we're going to talk about and continue our reading on the Black Woman's Guide, our cyber reading. What I want to do today, because I looked at my last broadcast and I noticed that I was really reading more and not very well, shall I say, but I was really reading more and just not giving as much dialogue. So I'm going to try to, I don't want to paraphrase too much. I want to make sure that we're getting the book, but you can read it on your own. You need me to kind of explain things to you. And of course, again, you know I've got to do a little fluffing to my hair as people are beginning to join in. I'm just going to start. There we go. All right, but I was paraphrasing. I mean, I don't want to paraphrase, like I said, too much, but I do want to make sure that I have that room for my dialogue, my discussion, what I really meant when I was writing this kind of thing, just so that you can, so you have an opportunity to hear me and what I have to say about what I wrote. So with that, I want to say a couple of things before we get going as people are logging in. I want to make sure that you understand that this is my first time doing live streaming on Google or with YouTube. And I think there's a few kinks that need to be ironed out. I'm going to contact them to see if you guys and why I'm not able to chat. We did a test. So some of you tried to log in when I was doing my test. Oops, sorry. I was just testing to see. I had the camera kind of blacked out and I had everything, the mic blacked out. But I wanted to see why you couldn't log in, why you were not able to chat with me. And so I saw that it wasn't working. So I'm going to talk to them about that. Also, I'm not able to get any questions. I noticed in my box it said I had questions, but I couldn't see them in my Dropbox, that it wouldn't come up. So with that, there's a couple of things that I'm going to be checking on. So we're back with the book, Black Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair. This is week 3 of our book. And I'm going to start with, we're still on the mind. There's 3 parts, main parts, and there's a 4th part that I put in there, but 3 main parts. And number 1, the mind. We want to understand what we think about our hair and how we view our hair. It's going to make a big difference on how we care for our hair. So I'm spending some time on the mind, and then we go to the next part, the scalp, which is our foundation. Hair is an appendage of the scalp, and so we want to make sure that we speak about the foundation of the scalp. And also we want to go back and we want to make sure that we are talking about, we're doing things like we're talking about the hair, because that's the part everybody wants to get to. They want to get to the hair. The hair. How do I get longer hair? How do I have hydrated hair? How do I have a wonderful, healthy fro or relaxed hair for that matter? What can I do? And so I'm going to get to that as well. But I want to get to these foundational things. And the first foundation is the mind. The second foundation will be the scalp. And then we'll get to the hair. All right, so we were talking about how negative education leads to a negative habit. So the way you're taught about your hair growing up, whether it's through a family member or whether it's something you read or something happened with you in a salon situation, that's the things that you're going to really try and do and live by as you grow older. So many women have bad habits. They like shampooing every 2 to 3 weeks, sometimes 4 weeks. These habits came from how we were taught. We were taught as Black women that if we shampoo too often, our hair will dry out and our hair really doesn't need all that shampooing. Well, we need to have a clean scalp and we need clean hair. If we have that, a clean scalp will resist diseases, itching, some flaking. We have a clean hair, our conditioners work better. It has more body and movement. See, my fro has lots of body, and I really shampooed last night. So my fro has lots of body and it's hydrated. We all are sometimes afraid that it'll dry our hair out. We just have so many fears. So this is a negative for you, and it keeps you from really having the kind of hair you want to have. So negative education leads to negative habits. How you're taught is how you're going to actually treat your hair. You also have women who wear gel for weeks. They wear braids for months. These things are done because we think a certain way. We've taught that, and we've taught a certain way. That's why we think a certain way. We're taught that if we braid our hair and leave our hair braid, our hair will grow. Well, the hair grows from the scalp. It's an appendage of the skin. So the hair will emerge, but it can break off. So I've had patients who come in and they wear braids and they take their braids down. So one, you have a group that have longer hair, braids or weave. They have longer hair, but it's after a few months, they feel like they have to go back in the braids or the weave because their hair is now dry and breaking again. You have some people who have hair that's doesn't even obtain length. So what's happened when they're wearing their braids or weave? They take it out and the hair comes out with the braid or weave. So you have both sides of the fence with this. So a lot of times we have to really be careful because we can wear added hair and obtain length, but do we have healthy hair? That's what's so crucial. So when you have negative thoughts could lead to, or ways we're taught negative, that could lead to negative thoughts, which could lead to negative habits. Okay. Sometimes we'll say things, negative things like, I don't have time to fool with this. And last week, I used the N word a lot, nappy. I don't use that much. That's a negative word. And the reason is within our race. You know, there's some sites that have made it positive. I love how much energy they put into it. But really, at the end of the day, especially those of us from old school, we think of the word nappy as bad. If someone walks around and says, you have nappy hair, you're not going to think of that as positive. But some of our younger folks, they kind of think that's okay. So I have both opinions, but really I don't want us to call our hair anything that associates with something negative that happened in our past or how somebody relates to us negatively. So if negative is a positive thing for you, nappy, then you say it. But if it's not, please don't say it. And so again, what we're talking about now is the negative education, which leads to negative habits. Okay, anyways, my hair grows faster with this particular style. Sometimes people will say that, like braids, my hair grows faster. Well, the hair doesn't grow faster with braids. The hair obtains length with braids because the hair is completely covered up. My hair grows faster with locks. The hair doesn't grow faster with locks. It obtains length because the locks are now in the lock. So everything that sheds stays in that lock. The important thing is the quality of your hair. So even though you have length, you want length with fullness. You want length that's healthy because it can grow out and it can appear to be full, but you want it to be healthy. So how can you have your long hair? And I'm going to really have length because I've been watching people on YouTube. I'm going to stop conducting different studies on my own hair. And this is my year, 2016. I promise you, I say that every year, but I'm really going to get length. So I'm going to measure this hair and I'm going to really do some great things with length. But right now, let's get back to the book. Okay. Now, many women sit in the salon for hours waiting to have their hair done, rush home, call their girlfriend, and talk about the stylist about either how unprofessional she was or only to go through the same thing every week. That's another thing. When we go into our salons, let's build a relationship with our stylist. Let's not say things like, oh, she won't listen to me. And some of you I know have a wonderful relationship with your stylist. Some of you stylists out there are wonderful, but sometimes you don't. You just kind of sit there as if you're looking in the window and having your hair done and you don't have an opinion. Get involved. I'm going to talk about this more in the book. You want to stay assertive, never be passive. So you want to talk to your stylist and talk to them about your salon visits and talk to them about how you feel about what they're doing to your hair. Let them know you have an itch. Let them know your hair is dry. Let them know you want to obtain long hair. Some things are really sneaky it seems it's subtle. It seems almost harmless. Some of the negative things we do. We got to remember, many women hate their hair as adults. And I know that sounds crazy, but they really do. I had a patient the other day, and I was going to give her one of my buttons. I walked in the room, and for some reason, I just felt really strong. And I wear these buttons all the time. And this button, if you can't see it, it says, "I love my hair." And it has asked the hair doctor, and it has different, like a straight hair, kinky hair, all this different afros, things like that. Well, I gave her my button. I said, "I want to give you this." And she took the button and she put it in her hand like this, and then she put it in her purse. And whenever I've given buttons out before, they've just basically put them on. Yay, thank you. But she didn't. She didn't like her hair. Now, I know we don't want to say that because it sounds like we're bad, but you're not. You just don't understand your hair. Right now, it's damaged. It's not long. It's weak. It's breaking. It won't style the way I want it. All those things. So you don't really like your hair. You don't have control over your hair. So now you're feeling that negativity. And so I was really, really touched by that. And I told her, I said, "You know what?" I put my hand on her shoulder. I said, "You know what? When we finish through your sessions, because she's got some problems, some serious problems, and I'm going to help her through those things, you're going to love your hair." And I was pretty excited about that. Okay, many spend their teenage years and now their adult life going through one style to the next, not really satisfied. I found among the women, many will say, "I hate my hair," or "I have always hated my hair." As they become adults, many will unknowingly do damaged things to their hair, causing it to break, and then will cover it up or hide their hair, their now damaged hair, with added hair. Wow, this is a biggie. This is a subconscious thing I think we do as women. I think we have hair. We want to love our hair, but our hair won't do what we want. So we tend to bully it into a style. So we do things like we go like, "Okay, I'm going to try relaxer. I'm going to try natural. And then I'm just going to cover it up." So you're covering up something that's yours, that's beautiful, that's an appendage of your scalp. And then you say, "I love my hair." Well, you really don't. Think about it. And like I said, I'm not trying to therapize you or any of that. I'm just really trying to get you to see that we need to deal with our hair in its natural state, get it healthy, then alter it. If we want added hair, then we wear that added hair. Think about it, guys. Again, I know that we want to get to the part of this book on the scalp as well as on the hair. But really, we need to think about how we feel about our hair. How are we treating our hair? Many patients come in to see me and they purchase my product. They have their hair done. They come in for treatments and they lean totally. It's like me and my therapist. I always tell them, you have a percentage of this. Now, when you come and see me, yeah, I have 50% of the responsibility. The therapists and the front line, your consultants, have 25%, but you have at least 25%. When you're out there styling your hair at home, you have the large percent of this responsibility. You have to make sure that you take care of your hair. Very crucial, very crucial. And welcome everyone who's listening in. Thank you so much for tuning in on your day today with me, your evening. Okay, so let's move on, and we're going to stay right with our 30 minutes today. All right. So as they become adults, many will unknowingly do damaging things, as I said. At the end of the day, they still are not satisfied with their hair. Now, we're on page 54, 55, if you're wondering where I am in the book. And make sure you get your book. Go to Amazon.com or go to LisaAkbari.com to get your book. And you can go to Lisa Akbari, LisaAkbari.com. All right. Sometimes we get depressed about our hair and we'll say, "My hair just stopped growing. My hair only grows when it's covered up." That's when we talk about the braids, the weave, and things like that. Okay. All right. Let's get the book here. Sometimes hair problems come later in life, as I said. Women who like their hair usually like their hair as a child. Think about it. They've had positive people around them, a lot of positive things said about their hair. They pretty much like their hair. These women seem to have no problem as a child, only later in life. My studies of this particular category, and I've conducted different studies for this, they have seemed to have no problems. It's child will have it later on in life. All right, let's talk about how this could happen. My studies of this particular category led me to believe that this is a large group of women. They probably have the most hair problems. They stay in denial the longest and with their hair problems. These women believe believe everything and only what mama or their beautician said about their hair. And this is from my experience. Many times I'll have people come in and say, well, my stylist told me this, and she's a great stylist, and she told me this, so it must be stress, my diet, nerves, or my medication, or maybe my age. And they just come in and they're so matter of fact, and they're like, okay. So I just let them talk, because the thing is, you really want to have an opportunity to tell me all about it. That's what I call it. Tell me all about it time. Okay, something else someone else is always taking care of their hair. They've shampooed it and they've done those things that will condition or whatever it was done. But many of these women will never allow a shampoo or comb they comb their own hair sometimes, but they don't shampoo their own hair. So many of them will just put a bonnet on it to tie it down. These are problems. Through the generations, Black women have been known not to let their daughters touch their hair. Many women do not touch your hair. I have some people who come in with it in their analysis and they say that, no, she shouldn't touch her hair while she's at school, or she shouldn't touch her hair. I don't let her touch her hair. Well, I believe different. I think things should change right now. I think you need to get your baby in the mirror, just like you see me looking here. You need to have your child sitting here and you standing above. And you need to make sure that you teach your little girl of color, your little girl how to take care of her hair. That's going to be crucial, because if you teach her how to take care of her hair and her scalp, then she is going to have a better chance of having a healthy full head of hair when she goes off to college and when she becomes an adult. It's very, very crucial. Sit her in the mirror. Tell her how much you love her hair, how beautiful her hair is. And I know I found more women nowadays are really beginning to do that. And I just want to throw you a kiss. I'm so proud of you. But there's still some ladies who, because they don't understand their child's hair, and they talk about the child's hair as if the child is deaf. The child can hear you, and she understands that you are not pleased with her hair. So she's not pleased with her hair. So she now wants to cover it up. These are things that are deep rooted. And again, this is probably the most, in some of you are like glued to the screen and you're listening every week. But some of you are like, oh, well, you're going to get to the hair and scalp portion. But please hang in there. Do not resist to temptation to just turn me off. Make sure you listen. I have interviewed many young and older adults who were confused, wondering if they never had their hair problems. Wondering if they never had their hair problems before. When and why now? So for some of them have gone through childhood, had an awful experience with their hair. Some went through childhood, had a great experience, never had hair problems. Now they're an adult. Why do I have hair problems now? And I'm moving around a little bit on the book, so just bear with me, because here's the commentary. Well, now they're wondering why. They said, actually, the hair and scalp problems were, and I want to tell you, I'm going to go on and tell you because I wrote the book, and so I know. And I'm on 50, 56, and 57. And basically what I'm going to tell you is happening here. You didn't have hair problems. You had someone else taking care of your hair. This will speak to you, this group. And this is the largest group by far. And now they have hair problems as adults. I have a headband on, guys, if y'all wondering what's happening in the back of my head. This group, the problems were brewing all the time. Because I tell my patients all the time and my team, no one walks around with microscopic eyes. So you're not going to be able to see the problems that you have. Those problems will develop, and they slowly develop. By the time you see them, they've been working and developing for a long time. Hair is an appendage of the skin. Generally, you find, especially when you have these short, broken spots, generally you have an itchy spot right under it. You're rubbing at the hair, or this trying to get to the scalp, but you're causing friction on top of the hair. When I look under the microscope at ladies like this, I notice that friction on the top of their strand. Then the hair becomes shorter and shorter until it's gone. So a lot of these problems come from the habits that you have. Some of them as you developed, as you became a teenager, and some of it as you got older. The scalp is skin, and it will age and become dehydrated, and your hair will become dehydrated and age if you're not careful to create a clean, acidic, stimulated, hydrated environment on the scalp, a balance on the hair, strong, hydrated. So if you don't have a consistent care program, if you're shampooing every 3 to 4 weeks, every 2 to 3 to 4 weeks, if you're working out and sweating and that waste and salt is settling on your hair and scalp, then you're going to have a problem eventually. It's not going to show up right away. It's going to be eventually. So you got to just step back and say, hey, wait a minute, what is the best regimen for me? And I have a regimen in the book. It talks about something that if you're not in the city, state, or country, and you can't come and see me, because I have people from everywhere. I noticed I had a person from Kenya who listened in last week. If you're not able to come and see me, then email me. I'll send you my book, Black Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair, and product so that you'll know what to do, okay? We'll get you a program. And then I'll even do video responses. I'm having a pretty cool time doing those video responses. Okay. So these things are very, very real. Let's talk about this. Let me read this first, and then I'm going to go back, stop, and then just kind of give you a little synopsis of it. It says something that was probably small progressed into something real. For example, your hair may not have felt soft, and you didn't think much about it. Now, there's a condition that I have coined as short hair syndrome. It's a hair disorder. The stage 1 of short hair syndrome is dry hair, dry feeling, dry looking, dull looking hair that won't hold a style, hair that when I do this, like I don't see how I get the body, hair that you'll put product on and it just seems to soak it in, poor porosity, uneven porosity that's not balanced. Those are signs of stage 1. So we don't think much of it. We'll just kind of put some moisturizer on it or oil on it for shine, or spray a little oil sheen spray. Is that even around still? It's like furniture polish, oil sheen and spray. It's really not real oil. So guys, if you're still using oil sheen spray, stop doing it. Use oils that you can put in your hand, rub in your hand, and rub through your hair. Okay, so they'll probably put oil or oil sheen or whatever on the hair, moisturizers on the hair, and then they don't think anymore about it. Well, that's a problem. That's stage 1 short hair syndrome. Okay, so you got to do that. As you get older, you were forced to get involved and take care of your hair. Mama is not there anymore. You can't just roll oil and roll your hair while mama's watching you. See, we kept things simple. And some people ask, well, how was I able to just shampoo my hair, grease my scalp, roll my hair, and have hair? Several things. One, we kept things really simple. When you got your hair shampooed, they didn't have the best shampoo, but they literally scrubbed your head. And your scalp and hair was clean. Now you're using all these hydrating shampoos that won't even clean your scalp and hair. Then we kept things simple. If we wore a relaxer, we didn't use heat on our hair. Remember those days, guys? You did not put heat on relaxed hair. It was like a sin. If we use heat, we would press it, curl it, roll it. We didn't curl it every day. We did it every 2 weeks if we did that. We didn't have the best hair, but we didn't continue to overexpose. The way you ruin your hair is to overexpose it. You overexpose it and you underexpose. You overexpose it to heat, chemicals, You underexpose it to hydration. You underexpose it and not have the balance of protein and moisture. So you're going back and forth with it and you don't understand. Your scalp is overexposed. Everybody's working out now. Everybody's in the gym. Yay, yay, yay. We're trying to get healthier. I think that's a great thing. Overexposing our hair to sweat, waste, and salt is in sweat. So we're not cleaning. When that waste and salt dries, it dehydrates. So we're not cleaning and hydrating. So we're going back and forth with these things. Now here you are trying to deal with your hair. You don't know your hair type, so you begin to experiment. So that's when we get this museum of products. How many of you, raise your hand? I only have one line in mine, but I'm going to raise it for you. How many of you have several products under your sink? Several products. Can I get an amen? I know you have them. It's like a museum looking back at you. So you're experimenting. You're saying, okay, I'm going to try this product. If it doesn't work, I'm going to try something else. If it doesn't work, why not? It's just a little money. Well, our hair is going through all those changes that those products took you through. Okay, so you need to be very, very careful. Now, I want to try to read some of this because I need it to make sense. And I need to make sure I'm addressing any questions from this. Okay, now here you are trying to deal with your hair. You don't know your hair type, so you begin to experiment. This is when we experiment. But now you have changed, you've matured, and you want a new style. Okay, you may even try a new hairstylist, maybe a coworker or a college mate or someone or a girlfriend recommended. This person may specialize in the style. This is what I want you to remember. This is a big takeaway today. If they specialize in the style, they have to specialize in the care. So this person may specialize in the style, but not the care. You're thinking, okay, she's licensed. She has a large clientele. She'll be okay. Not necessarily. Then before you know it, the long, beautiful hair that you always had has began to become thin and break. So you change and go over again. You go to another style. Girl, I changed her because my hair became damaged. And then your stylist will say, oh, you just need to cut it off and start over. How many of you have gone through that? I conducted a study, and what I realized is by the time, this was years ago, and now it's changing. By the time a woman was 40, she'd cut her hair off at least 4 times and started over. So this is really serious. So now she's cutting it off even more sooner, more often than that. Okay, so we need to think about that. All right, so we need to make sure that we get to know this person. Okay, so you cut it off, you start over. 1 year later, you're thinking, breaking again. Why is that? And why do we, because I'm going to talk more about trimming ends as well, but why do we break, when our hair is breaking, we cut it off to start over? All hair is dead keratinized fibers. So we think this negative thought and we say, well, okay, I'm going to just cut my hair because it's breaking, instead of saying, I'm going to try and treat my hair. And I know it seems easy. And you know, some of you guys really rock those short, cute looks. Okay. So if you're comfortable with that, then that's fine. But many of my patients, they get in the mirror and they're crying. How did I, and why did I cut my hair off? Or they get in my analysis room and they say, oh, I wish I had met you before I cut my hair off. See, these are things that are huge. So we need to think about it. Stop. Exhale. Because we really need to think about our hair. Dead keratinized cells, we just need to protect and preserve them. We need to take care of them. They will look young, your hair strands, now and for years to come, because you get a chance with your hair. It's going to grow, it's going to shed, it's going to grow again. It's going to grow, it's going to shed, it's going to grow again. So you got to take care of it. So, but while it's on your head, and your hair will stay on your head anywhere from 2, 4, 6 years, growing at a rate of a half. If you're under 20, it could grow up to 1 inch, and it's all genetically linked. It can grow up to 1 inch every 4 weeks. Your hair can grow 1/2 inch every 8 weeks. So your hair will grow and stay on your head and you can have 12, 24 inches of hair. That's why it's so crucial this year for me to obtain length, because you need to really see that and not see it with someone who says, oh, I'm going to grow my hair out and I'm going to have waist length hair. But then when you take a look at their hair, they've been wearing their hair in weave for over half of the year, 9 or 10 months out of the year. Yes, our hair is growing, but it's not breaking. I want you to learn how to take care of your hair, whether it's relaxed or whether it's naturally kinky. And I want you to be able to do that and obtain the length that you want. So I'm going to be right there with you. We are all going to get the length who want the length. Okay? All right. Okay. Let's see here. At this point, we become depressed when we start losing our hair. We become depressed. We don't know. Let's see. I think I'm getting something on the screen. My emails are popping up. Okay. We become depressed and wonder what to do. You start thinking back to when you had hair, when you had that beautician. I hear it all the time. When my beautician, she passed away, or my beautician moved away, or my beautician got pregnant, or my beautician. We think about all the old beauticians, or we think about mama, when mama was taking care of my hair. Now, and I think we're almost out of time, but I'm going to wrap it up with this. We think about, what do we run back to? Oh, my mom used to use this oil. So we get this big jar of grease and we put it on our hair and we tried it, we buy it and we put it on our hair and wonder why it doesn't work anymore. I'm going to tell you, we're going to start with this. This is going to be our topic next week. It's Black Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair. And it's going to be part 4, week 4. But it's going to be called, We Need to Stop the Insanity and Think. That's it. We're going to stop the insanity and think. We're going to look at the thoughts. Don't just appear. Our thoughts don't just appear out of nowhere. We're going to take responsibility. That's what we're going to do. We're going to start wrapping some of this up. Times when our hair was damaged, and then we're going to get in times when it would seem healthy, and we're going to start with cleansing our mind. How do we cleanse our mind? And I've got a whole look, and we're going to get all the way to page 63 for sure. And we're going to look at how to cleanse our mind. We're going to talk about our salon visits and how do we handle our salon visits. We're going to talk about these negative thoughts. We're going to talk about all of that and just list some of them. And then we're going to get this, and let's see if we can get into it at the end. Can we talk? I got a session on Can We Talk? And how to recondition our mind so we can make available space for the positive. And again, for those of you who've been waiting on the scalp and the hair chapters, we're getting there. But if you please email me, lisa@lisaakbari.com, if you're enjoying this portion on the mind. Because I want you to have education, not just information. I want you to understand hair products. I want you to understand how to choose your professional. The positive affirmations. Think about magazine information, what you're getting from that. We're going to go over all of that. But for now, I have to say, I'm Lisa Akbari, your hair doctor. Thank you so much for tuning in to my live Black Woman's Guide, the book reading, cyber reading. I love you. To God be the glory in Jesus. Thank you so much for tuning in. And I'll see you next week right here. And make sure right below that you send me your comments. If you are not able to get your comments in, or if I don't respond, send them to my email, lisa@lisaakbari.com. And make sure you let me know, because I get tons of emails, that you were Black Woman's Guide to Beautiful Hair. You were listening into the cyber reading. Thank you again. God bless you, and I will talk to you real soon. Have a great, wonderful morning, evening, or night. And make sure to let your friends know that it is going to be archived, so you'll be able to see it. Thanks again. Have a wonderful day.